comedy is every joke. It's just improvisation.
And especially if you want to make different cultures, joke which will be understood by different cultures.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Do you find your film Tulpan different film? I mean, maybe a little bit more. To say it, just because there's a lot of long scenes, isn't there? There's a lot of long takes, and is it a little bit more difficult to go through the Hollywood pattern? I mean, just to show it in the cinema, where people expect to see, films like Avatar. Is it difficult to show it?
Yeah, of course, because it's in this film there is a different film language, different, because the typical language is cutting. They cut scene many times, usually, and it's certain language how to tell, to present characters, to present situation, and I present in a different way. And it's difficult for not all people can read this image. Sometimes if they watch TV, for instance, now in Russia, all serious images, they don't understand what happened, because they got used to see just standard language, TV language or film language. Just after this scene must be another angle or change angle or something. And for them it's difficult to see simple things.
It's like sitting in a quiet room, isn't it?
Yes.
Some people just cannot sit in a quiet room.
Exactly. And they can't, they can't perceive this. They are scared of this, of the image. Very often, that's why it's difficult. But I think there are two ways of making film. One language is normal language. Let's say. Language of Eisenstein or Griffiths or Kuleshov, and another language is more simple language. Like I make films, some other they also made before, but it just depends. Depends on you what you want as a director. But of course it's more difficult. But now my film was was shown quite well in America, for instance. It's interesting that very good critics, very good.
Like with the Kieślowski's film, he made long takes, a lot of long takes as well, and one of the critics said that he's making films, grown-up films for grown-up people. Do you think your films are more for people who are grown-ups?
Of course. I think. In Tulpan, for instance, there is simple story, and I think all people can understand this. But at the same time, to understand more in this film, you have to understand what is this image and what is this film. I mean, to understand a little bit more film as an art, Then you value this. You understand all. But ordinary people, they just understand the story. Just this story about the guy, very simple, very banal story, in a way, but how the film made, to understand, you need a little bit, like music, classical music, you can't understand classical music without special education, and or opera or something, or painting also, you can't understand, you understand subject, you understand, but you can't understand some subtle things. The same with Tulpan, people understand, the ordinary people in Kazakhstan, for instance, they like the film because they like jokes, they like story, main character, motivations and everything. At the same time, to understand deeply this film, one should be more, in other words, to understand more arts, art and film.
Like for me, where I realized that there's so many layers in this film. And, like for example, I remember when I was a child. I'll give this a quite simple example. When I was a child, there was The Simpsons. And when I was a child, I always laughed about the things which Bart did. The small child. Now I see the same episodes, and I'm laughing about what his father does. And I realized your film is exactly the same. You got layers. You got this simple fine dog, small dog. You got this child running away, and you got this whole funny things children does. And at the same time, you have this, you know, family that had this guy who tried to, you know, have some physical contact with this girl, and he cannot, you know. And there's another layer. There's this young boy who's trying to find love, and actually, I don't think he's trying to find love. He's just trying to, you know, find his own place. And was it like was it at the beginning of the script that did you actually wanted to do this, to build those layers?
Yeah, of course I wanted, but at the same time, many things I changed the script many times, you know, during shooting. I changed about 80% of the initial script, and it was, you know, it's a lot of work. I can't advise you to make like me, because my way is very difficult to make. Very difficult to change script during shooting. It's don't do this. If you can, don't do this. If you must do this, okay, then try. But you have to understand that this is a really difficult thing because of the crew. So many people around you, they are waiting for you, and sometimes they don't understand what you're doing, you know. And I remember one funny moment, one joke. That was not joke. That was true from Apocalypse Now, from Coppola, because once he made this film a long time, so I think for 4 years or 5 years, and then he wrote in his book that once he sat in the toilet during shooting, and nearby the toilet, two his assistants had chat, yes, and one said to another, he said, "Listen, let's run away," because he got crazy. Understand? He got crazy. As soon as possible. Let's run away. Exactly, I think with me the same was, because people, the crew, they don't care what they just want to work. But if
they have to believe in it.
Yes, but if you redo something, it's very difficult. It's for you difficult to understand, and for them difficult to wait for you, you know. And this is this experience with Tulpan. It's my way, just my way, and you have to find your own way how to make film. You know?
You said the one change you did was the birth scene, when you have to record it, this 10 minutes, you know, scene, which actually was probably cut once. It was one take. So actually, and you decided to change the script. Did you have more situation like this, when you have to, you know, when you captured something so unusual that you thought, you know, even if it goes, you know, above the script, and you said, oh, you know, guys, let's leave it. I think it's quite interesting.
Yeah, but you just, you know. In my opinion, we as directors, we have two ways how to work with film. One way is standard way, like you just illustrate a script. Somebody wrote or you wrote, and then you just illustrate scene by scene, day by day. You follow planning, and you do. I think 99% of films they do like this. Just follow and they make film. In my opinion, this way is literary, like literary filmmaking. It's like literature. You just follow words, you know, and you just transform words into picture, image. Another way is when you have script, but then you change it. You know, and then you use reality. You use something in anything what can happen during your shooting. You know, for instance, today there was an interview with me in studio here, and this poster was behind me, and they pasted this poster with some stickers, and during the interview the poster fell down, and they stopped immediately. They stopped. They come on, stop! Let's start again. That was false. This is